Dealing damage is one of, if not the most important thing in League. It can sound kind of stupid, like obviously I need to do damage, but truly I think it can be easily forgotten. People get really caught up in macro and strategies and all the fancy sounding stuff, but none of it matters if you don't know how to effectively do damage. And this isn't exclusive to carries or damage dealers either. Supports also need to have a knowledge of how to do damage, but also how to allow their team to do damage. I had a set of games recently where they were just not going well, and I was losing skirmishes and nothing was really going right in my early fighting. And the reason for that was because I was just missing skill shots. If I throw out my E or big Qs as Talia, whether I hit or miss could mean whether I lose the skirmish or not. And in my games, I was missing a lot of important skill shots. If you've been following the Broken by Concept podcast, you'll know that champion mastery has been an incredibly important driving point for them recently as the actual basis of the game. The reason for this being that if you don't know how to play fights, deal damage, and kill shit, then your options for what you can actually do big picture is very limited. There are a few different reasons that I wanted to list out that should help you either figure out if you're fulfilling your role and doing damage well enough, and also help you understand how to get more damage out. First, have you limit tested on your champion enough? This is probably going to be for those who have not played their champion very much, but you'd be surprised at how many people have played their champion for months or years and still don't know their limits. Often this is because people get too scared to push the limits because they think that it'll hinder their chances of winning that game. And yeah, it probably will, but that's a necessary sacrifice in order to reach higher limits later. One step back, two steps forward. If you aren't willing to push the limits and see how much damage your champion can do, you'll be forever stuck in the same limits that are far less than what's possible. Second is watching high elo one tricks or just high elo players in general. I think this is an incredibly effective way to understand how to do damage and combo more effectively. I'm considering making a whole video on this, but I think watching high elo players has a lot of benefit purely in getting a feel for the game. One of the main contributing factors to help me get good at champs I was playing, namely Katarina as I was climbing to Diamond, was watching one tricks play their champ. The main goal is to make your gameplay feel like theirs. Combo the same way, move the same way, clear waves the same way. I think that this gives you a clear goal as to how you want your gameplay to look, and that was always my goal climbing early on. Even more recently, I remember watching a night VOD of him playing Syndra, and even being a longtime Syndra player at the time, watching his laning and pure accuracy and knowledge of limits opened up my eyes to elevating my own gameplay. Third is ability usage. This is a classic, but there's a reason that it's hammered over and over again. If you're not throwing your abilities right, that can be the difference between winning and losing a fight, or even the game. Watching high elo players should help you with this, but also understanding at a deep level how to properly use your most important abilities in the kit. For example, Talia E is a massively important spell that can warp a fight, but throw it at the wrong time or in the wrong direction and you lose all the impact you had. Some more examples would be Syndra E, RA Charm, or ZW. But most champs are going to have that key ability that is massively important for their threat output in a fight. Now you may think that a lot of what I listed are CC abilities, so how does that really pertain to dealing damage? Well, these key abilities are usually what grants you access to dealing damage. Remember that you can't kill people if you're dead, so the threat of the proper usage of these abilities allow you to not only stay alive, but also reliably hit priority targets. Also within this realm is just straight up skill shot accuracy. If you're missing skill shots, especially the most important ones, then you're about as useful as if you just didn't have the ability at all, so don't discount the importance of accuracy. And lastly is cooldowns before fights. This one is often an unnoticed killer of skirmishes. To bring up more personal Talia examples, I went through a period where I would constantly show up to skirmishes with my E on cooldown, because I was using it haphazardly to clear waves before moving to plays. An ability like that is way too important to have on cooldown for a fight. You might as well have not even shown up until the ability was off cooldown. So a pretty short and simple video, but there are still a lot of very important reminders in here. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you have not truly pushed the limits of your champion enough so that you know how much damage you can output. The bottom line is you have to know how to do damage. Knowing how to fight and deal damage will open up your opportunities drastically. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. I'm finishing up my final exams this week, and I'm going to be able to put a lot of more time into the content and the videos, so expect some more solid videos and streams, and hopefully I can do more events coming up for the community, so stay tuned for that. My stream is linked in the description, so you can check it out there, but I would also love to hear your suggestions for content, so if you have any, you can leave a comment or join my Discord and send it in there. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one.